So welcome, Julie. Thank you for coming today. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do and what organization you're with?
I'm the Executive Director of Impact of the Piedmont. We support folks with intellectual and developmental disabilities. The newer term is neurodiverse. So folks who have a wide range of abilities and challenges, we serve them in a multitude of settings. It may be their own apartment, and group homes out in the community, at the job site. So we're there to help the folks be successful and have the life that they choose to live. I've been doing this about 38 years, been in the field a long time, always from the clinical side though, and not so much from the financial.
So let's talk a little bit about how you and I became acquainted. I think it's been a couple of years ago, and it was when I was at a nonprofit organization where I was heading that up, and you came and looked at some rental opportunities there.
Right, we were looking at expanding our services, and you were nice enough to give me a tour and tell us a little bit about opportunities there. And thank goodness now it looks like we're going to be able to move forward here 2 years later. It's actually going to come to fruition. But met you there, and then I was later introduced. I didn't realize it was the same person when someone recommended you to do our CPA work. I was struggling at that time as I had my background social work and psychology, and I was confident in the clinical side and managing like a departmental budget, but I had not been an executive director before, and I did not have the accounting skills. So when I looked at all of our finances and I started trying to put it into reports, I felt completely overwhelmed. I didn't know where to start, but I actually did make it worse in the beginning because I tried to sort things into what made sense to me, ended up with way too many lines. So I made something that was already complicated, much more complicated. So when I reached out for help, I felt like you walked into a big mess. We had so many categories, so many lines where I was trying to track and not doing the greatest job of it. So one of the first things you helped us do was start streamlining and making things where we could get our head around it, sorting things into the correct buckets. But that brought such a peace of mind and empowered us with information that we could make decisions from. You were very patient learning all of our different service definitions and codes and helping us identify those buckets. But step by step, it took us about a year, we ended up with a really good system. We learned together, and you're a very good teacher, very patient, and I'm tickled to death that now we have monthly finance committee meetings and we're able to see actual data, real-time data, and you do graphics and so much that we can understand and we know exactly where we stand. And we didn't have that before. Sometimes I'd look at our balance in the bank account and I was like, well, I think we have enough for this, or I don't know, I think we don't. Payroll will be coming out. It was so uncertain. And now we're really doing well, and we know just where we stand, and we're even able to put some money aside for some of the uncovered expenses that we have.
So thank you, Julie. I have been with Impact now as their CPA consultant for about a year and a half, and it's been a wonderful journey. I've enjoyed getting to know you and the staff and the residents, and it's just been a great experience for me. Something you mentioned that I've noticed with other clients I have I'm in the nonprofit space as a CPA management consultant, and something that you mentioned of having the chart of accounts not working for you. That's something I see frequently, and I do have a tailor-made chart of accounts that I bring to my clients to help them streamline, to get what you need out of the system, but not all the details that can be better captured in another place. I do enjoy meeting with your finance committee on a monthly basis. We not only look at historical data, but we are able to look at future projections, which is so important as you're managing any business, whether it be nonprofit or a for-profit. So I really try to bring the business perspective to nonprofit organizations and get them to a place where they can not only look at historical, but also future looking information and make management decisions based on that.
So important and so helpful to us and our longevity, our success.
Yeah.
So we do appreciate it so much. The other thing is, with you being a consultant, we get the best of both worlds. We have your skill set, your passion, but we really weren't in a position of being big enough to need a full-time finance director.
Right.
So it has worked out beautifully for us.
Yeah. So what I try to do with my nonprofit clients is meet them where they are, and tailor make a solution that makes sense, whether it be consulting arrangement, and whether it be just doing year-end tax return preparation, helping them to outsource an audit if there is an audit requirement for them and they don't have a firm on board. So I've appreciated my time with Impact, and I appreciate being able to volunteer as well as being a consultant with them. I was able to go on a zoo trip earlier this year with the group to Asheboro Zoo, and that was a really rewarding experience to spend some one-on-one time with the residents and clients of Impact. Can you share a little bit about how people can be involved as a volunteer or make monetary donations if they feel like this is an organization they would like to support?
Well, thank you, and I appreciate the fact you volunteer too, and you have relationships. And it's not only relationships with me and the staff, but you know what our mission is and you care about our mission. And so you give some of yourself to make it happen, and you understand the importance of what we do. So that's just icing on the cake. It's wonderful to have that. When we do a big trip like the zoo trip, it takes extra hands. Sometimes people who can walk for short distances need wheelchairs for longer distances. So we always need more people to help with the wheelchairs. Sometimes it's running to get their water or whatever. It just takes a lot of folks. And we are so grateful when there are folks who step up to help us. Also, we have some folks who do not have family members, and a volunteer who comes to visit, other volunteers who come to do an art activity or teach an art class. We do art once a week at a studio, and it's so nice to have a fresh idea, someone come in with a new project to do, new energy and something different. The more variety of experiences we can offer the people we support, the more life. That's the way it is for us too. We want a variety of experiences. And like say, even with just art, different techniques, one loves one thing more than another. Or how do you know you love this, or you might have this hidden talent if you're not exposed? So volunteers sometimes just bring a whole nother layer of enriching experiences and opportunities for folks. Monetarily, we are primarily paid for by Medicaid, and some of the things that we require, such as we must have vans, we must have vehicles, we do have properties that sometimes the roofs need to be replaced, and those things aren't covered through Medicaid reimbursement. So when we're able to receive a donation, it is such a gift because it's not just extra, it's the essentials. Sometimes we need that community support for the essential needs to be met. And Allyson, something you help us with too is understanding like restrictions or non-restricted, what can go to the general operations account, and you know how we do all that bookkeeping, and that's such a gift to us. So we appreciate it from so many different angles.
So what I try to do with my CPA firm is to meet clients where they are. So with you guys, it was more of a digging in and getting things straight and then moving to maintenance. With some of my clients, they need a little bit of monthly help, someone to ask questions of. For that purpose, I have a private group, a mastermind group that we can collaborate. There's a weekly Q&A session for an hour. There's educational content and just ways that we can work together on a less of a consultant relationship and more of a CPA on retainer for a small fee monthly type of relationship. Well, I've appreciated being a part of what Impact is doing for the last year and a half and looking forward to a continuing relationship. Thank you for your heart for taking care of your clients.
Of course, it is a pleasure. In our core values, we have honor, and that's something I feel like we share, is you're very honoring of the people we support, and you're very patient and kind with me and our team. But thank you for that. It's a perfect matchup.